Welcome to today's 3-Minute Halacha. What should you do on Shabbat if you don't have enough wine for the 3 times it's required? For Friday night Kiddush, for the Kiddush Rabbah of Shabbat morning, and also for Havdalah. What are your options? The first option is based on a fact we learn in the Gemara on Shabbat and Daf Ayin Zayin Amud Aleph, and that is that in the times of the Talmud, wine was very strong and very sharp. And in order to drink the wine, they would be moseg water into the wine. They would dilute the wine. In those days, 1 part wine to a little less than 6 parts water. And so one suggestion is you can dilute the wine you receive, but nowadays, since wine is already diluted, the ratio of water to wine must be much less. So for example, in typical Concord grape juice, you could have 2 parts water to 1 part grape juice. And for typical sacramental wine like Kedem, you could add 1 part water to 1 part wine. This is the ruling of the Radiance of Shabbat, page 71. But what if that's not enough to have wine for all 3 times? The priority is to have wine for Friday night. That's the ideal. But if you don't have it, one alternative discussed earlier was the idea of chamar de medina, of using a beverage such as coffee or tea. However, the preferable option to having wine Friday night is actually to recite Kiddush on the lechem mishnah, on the 2 loaves of bread that you make the motzi upon. This is brought down in the halacha, in Reish Ayin Bet, Seif Tet, and also in the Mishnah Berurah there. To make Kiddush over challah, you first would wash your hands, make the al natilat yadayim, hold the 2 challahs during Kiddush, replacing the borei priagofen with the bracha of hamotzi lechem min haaretz, and then eating from the bread. At lunch, a chamar de medina can be used, as is typically used by many, of having a shot of whiskey or something else that is a beverage that is not typically used to quench a person's thirst, but is used as a social interaction. However, at lunch, you can't use bread for Kiddush because the Kiddush is so small, just the bracha itself, that it would make it no different than a regular meal. And therefore, if there's no wine for lunch, use a chamar de medina is the only other alternative. The Shulchan Aruch writes that when it comes to Havdalah, you also can't use bread for Havdalah. As the Mishnah Berurah explains in Reish Tzadik Vav, Sifkatan Zayin, the reason is because Kiddush on Friday night you can use bread because Kiddush is an integral part of the meal. It has to be eaten. It has to be made where there is a meal, Kiddush b'makom suda, and therefore bread can be used. But Havdalah doesn't need a meal. And so therefore bread can't be used for Havdalah, and the only option would be chamar de medina. Friday night, ideally wine. Shabbat morning, chamar de medina or wine. Havdalah, chamar de medina is the option to use if there isn't enough wine.